Well, as I say, I'm doing Kenny Lonergan's play Rhodey, and I'm also working on a musical of The Kid, which is a new musical about two guys who adopt a kid based on Dan Savage's book. Dan Savage is a writer. He's a syndicated writer, and he's a really funny guy. And he wrote a book about the process of adopting a baby with his partner. So we're doing a musical of that. We have auditions about that tomorrow. We're going to do a reading with looking forward to doing a full production in the spring. And also we'll be doing a play that Ethan Hawke is directing, Sam Shepard play called Land and Mind. And Ethan and I have been emailing back and forth about ideas for the roles. And I am doing a film, Michael Cuesta's new film called Rhodey. And so that's going to shoot in October. And I've been negotiating for a couple of other things that I haven't signed. I'm also doing another play, an avant-garde play for the Pig Iron Company in Philadelphia, which is, I guess you'd say they're an experimental theater company. They do very interesting work, kind of like a lighter version of the Worcester Group, I say, because Worcester is heavy things. This is a more comic kind of feel to this company, I think, than Worcester Group. Yeah, I have. I've gone to Chicago, and I've cast in Chicago, and I've cast in LA. Most of my work is in New York, but I have, on occasion, well, cast in those two cities, and I do a breakdown and release. I get the submissions here, and when I go there, I try to work with a local casting director to introduce me to people I don't know and to try to broaden the horizons that I have through submissions. And it's worked very well. As I say, I don't do it often. There are others of us who go all the time, and they travel all the time. Well, there was one thing with Before Sunrise. We made an offer to an actor, and he passed. And at the opening night party, he came up to me and said, "Well, why didn't I get a chance to do this? To come in for this?" And I said, "Well, you remember you passed." He said, "Oh, I did." It was fun. I like them to be on time. I like them to be prepared. They always get their sides up beforehand, and whenever possible, they can read the script beforehand. I like them to really know what they're doing, especially in film auditions, because I noticed the difference. A lot of LA actors really know how to audition for the camera. New York actors really have to learn this, because in a theater audition, you're taught that the worst thing to do is to act like you know the material well. So you can have your script and you can be reading it, etc. In a film audition, the minute you start to read what's being said to you, and I call it chair auditioning, because like I'm sitting here, an actor's sitting in a chair and he has to fill the space of this space, and I'm only looking at him. So during the talking and the listening, he has to be actively involved with the moment by moment work. LA actors know that like off the top of their heads, and it's something New York actors have to really learn. What they don't do usually in a theater audition is really have the lines down pat. And they have a knowledge of it, and they make their choices. But in other words, if you're talking to me and you're the reader and I'm talking to you, and you're giving me lines, I could look here and look at you, and look here and look at you. Whereas in a film audition, I can't do that. I really can't do that a lot. You really have to almost memorize a film audition so that you can be totally involved, because all we're seeing is this. And if I'm like this, I'm either looking at the top of your head or your eyes closed, and it looks like you're taking a vacation from the scene. Whereas again, going back to the theater, we're not on tape, we're live, and we look at all of you. So that looking down is not as prominent or as disturbing as it is when you're just looking and when you're just working for the camera.